there are times when fans really cross all the boundaries. There is no respect for the superstars, and even less consideration that if you attack a superstar, they have every right to respond to it. Anyway, there are times for both sides, in favor of the superstars and also in favor of the fans. For now, I'll stop talking, and today I'll present to you fans versus WWE wrestlers' real conflicts. But, before showing fans who attacked superstars, we have to look at superstars who accidentally ended up hurting fans. Obviously, this is up to your discretion, and you'll really understand whether or not there was any intention to hurt fans. Gunther has turned out to be a real beast both inside and outside the ring. So much so that when he suddenly appeared on Monday Night Raw to attack Jey Uso, he took off his jacket and threw it so hard toward the crowd that, unfortunately, it ended up hitting a child in the face. After that, you can see the child covering his face because of the hit, and we can't even imagine the pain he was feeling. Even though the jacket itself shouldn't hurt that much, the metal part of the zipper does hurt, and quite a lot, especially on the face. At the NXT Halloween Havoc of the year 2022, we saw a tag team match where there was a truly terrifying moment. When Von Wagner pulled a ladder out from under the ring and grazed a woman in the front row with the edge of the metal. The referee noticed immediately and asked the woman to move. She, without much space and not knowing what to do, just sat down. Wow, but it must have been a big scare for her, no doubt about it. This didn't happen long ago, and it directly involves the superstar Roxanne Pérez. It turns out that Roxanne appeared in the front row of Raw to witness a match between Bayley and Nia Jax. After the match came to an end, there was an altercation between Roxanne and Bayley, and it got to a point where the security guard had to intervene. When the guard had Roxanne in his arms, the superstar accidentally kicked a fan who was sitting next to them, knocking her out of her seat. While for many it was a rather funny moment, just imagine if you were the one experiencing this embarrassing moment live in front of everyone. Now, if we talk about fans who attack WWE superstars, we have the most recent example from 2025 where the fans can't stand John Cena at all. Meanwhile, this wrestler was in the middle of the ring on SmackDown, cutting a promo for his match against Randy Orton at the Backlash event. A fan couldn't stand Cena's words and threw a bottle at him to attack the wrestler. John Cena took this moment to stop the segment and pick up the bottle with his hands. Although obviously he then threw it to the side and decided to continue with what he was doing in the ring. Fortunately, the fan would be removed from the arena by security. Even before turning heel, Cena had already faced humiliations and boos from the crowd. I don't remember any other time he was attacked by fans with any physical object. August 5th, 2002, the group called 3 Minute Warning, made up of Umaga, destroyed Lillian Garcia in the ring. What none of them imagined was that at the exact moment, a roll of toilet paper would be thrown at Umaga. And to everyone's great astonishment, it would hit him perfectly. WWE fans, it seems, have an incredible gift for accuracy. Although we've already seen a similar case to this, unfortunately, another fan in 2006 tried to hit a wrestling character. And this time, in his face, Paul Heyman would experience firsthand the fans' discontent on the Extreme Championship Wrestling show. Unlike the toilet paper roll we saw in the first example, this would be much worse. Because the cup they threw at Paul Heyman did have liquid in it, so Palito ended up more than just wet that time. Wow, did that happen to him because he betrayed Rob Van Dam? When on Raw, Vince McMahon faced CM Punk in a no disqualification match. Shortly after the match started, Ray-Ban and John Cena would appear. They would destroy each other while Punk would run away like a real coward through the crowd. It turns out that a fan tried to hit Pong on the head and he reacted immediately and ended up giving him some real hard punches. Although, sadly I have to tell you that he hit the wrong fan. Because the guy who took all the punches from Pong wasn't the one who had hit him on the back of the neck. Wow, so that's why I have to say this was accidental, because he really wasn't the person Pong thought he was. Apparently the calm Pong has changed lately with the fans and he seems much more relaxed. For example, here you can see how he dropped a PlayStation game for a fan, and he kindly picked it up and gave it back. When discussing major attacks on wrestlers, we must remember the ones Raven experienced in World Championship Wrestling. First, while the wrestler was sitting in a corner of the ring, a fan jumped over the security barrier and tried to pull the wrestler out of the ring by grabbing his hair. A more than violent way to show that Raven was not his favorite wrestler. In the following weeks, Raven would once again be attacked by a fan, but this time from behind. The fans at the time believed that he had been attacked by the former World Championship Wrestling wrestler Chris Kanyon, since the fan looked quite similar in appearance. On October 5, 1997, WWE held the event Injured House Bad Blood. 20,000 people were eagerly waiting for the match between the British Bulldog and Bret Hart vs. Vader and the Patriot. When the time for the match arrived, no one expected that a fan would try to enter the ring to apparently attack a superstar. It's unclear who he intended to harm. What we did see is that the British Bulldog entered the ring and ended up kicking him on the ground, helping the referee get this fan out of the ring. Wow, I'm sure that fan didn't feel like getting into the ring again at future events. In 2002, RBD and Eddie Guerrero faced off in another episode of Monday Night Raw, when suddenly a fan couldn't stand that Latino Heat won the title and decided to attack him as if he were a wrestler too. Eddie Guerrero, always clever, jumped off the ladder before it was moved. Fortunately, the referees were there at the right moment to grab him by the neck and throw him to the ground, although obviously Eddie Guerrero also felt the need to hit him. Something very similar to what happened to John Cena happened to Brock Lesnar at the Night of Champions event in 2025. Although I'm not sure if I should consider this a mistake, at least it's something unexpected. That WWE doesn't want to appear on camera. At the end of the match between Brock Lesnar and Cody Rhodes, you can clearly see how a fan in the arena threw a water bottle. WWE and the event production team tried to quickly change the camera angle, but it was still completely noticeable. Brock Lesnar tried to look for that fan who threw the bottle. I must remind you that it's always forbidden to throw objects into the ring, Ariegas. You could even be removed from the event immediately. A fine or even jail time for disorderly conduct at a public event. Anyway, Brock Lesnar apparently wasn't very satisfied with this act, and his displeasure was obvious on his face. Just imagine what would have happened if the fan had been in the front row and Brock Lesnar had identified him immediately. Maybe the biggest one we've ever seen out of all of them.